call fixed equal every month. So this one example is a form of annuities. Okay, other example. Now, you know what's called insurance premium, right? Those of you who buy insurance, let's say you want to pay 100 ringgit per month. Okay, not insurance is not free. You buy insurance, you have to pay premium. Let's say the agent tell you, okay lah, you buy 200,000, your premium is 100 ringgit per month. So when you start working, right, you buy insurance for what? Why people buy insurance? People buy insurance for what? Protection, right? So let's say every month you have to pay 100 lor. January you pay 100, February you pay 100, and so on. So that means if I draw the line chart, you see the line chart, right? Remember, you start from here. So let's say you pay 100. February you pay 100. March you pay 100. Okay, every time you pay 100 until the end of the year. Or salary 3,000. Next month 3,000, 3,000 up to December. Okay, so this is a few example. Okay, next, you know what's hire purchase mortgage? You buy house, you borrow loan. That's called house purchase. Let's say the bank tell you, okay, you buy 500,000 house, the installment, you know what's called installment? Anyone don't know what's called installment? You buy car, you buy house, every month you have to pay what? Installment. How do you call it in Mandarin? How do you call it in Bahasa Malaysia? Bayaran. This is for what? Loan. You know what's called loan, right? You don't have money, you borrow from bank. So every month the bank asks you to pay 2,000 per month. So after you get a salary, you pay 2,000 to the bank for the car, for the house. So this is what we call annuities. All right. This is how you spot the difference between interest and annuity, so that you don't use the wrong formula. I find that a lot of people they cannot difference between annuities and also the interest. So at the end of an exam, they simply use the wrong formula. The question is very easy one, but they cannot differentiate between annuities and interest. Supposed to get full mark, but they use the wrong formula. Once you use wrong formula, gone. Okay. All right. Now, annuities got two types. One is paid early, beginning. I'll show you later what's the difference between beginning of each payment periods. The other name is called due. Now, sometimes question mention beginning, sometimes they mention early, or they call it at once. When you see the word early, at once, beginning, due, all these are same one. Now, when the person pay annuities or save using annuities beginning, start from zero. Start from zero. Right, this one, start from zero. If the person pay at the end or save at the end, or we call it late, or we call it ordinary. So you see the question mentioned and late, ordinary, all these are same meaning. Now, if the person save or pay at the end, start from 1. This one is for early. This one is for late. Okay, I repeat, 0 means to start from early. 1 start from late. Later when you see the line chart, you can see 1. Now, what's the difference between you start from 0 and you start from 1? Is there any difference? I ask you lah. You start save money 1st of January. 1st of January and 31st of January. Okay, can you see the diagram? 1st of January and 31st January. This is called what? Early. 1st day of the January. This one is what? End of January. Can you see the difference? Different by how many days? 30 days, right? Now, if you save money 3,000 here, and you save money 3,000 here, which one you earn more interest? Guys, you save 1st of January, 3,000, and you save money 3,000, 31st of January. Which one you start earn money? Which one start earn money first? This one, right? Why? Because 1st of January. So when you see this chart here, okay, you start from here, right? You start from here. If you save 3 years, right? Save 3 years, you start from here. Start from 0. This is early. So you save 3 years, 1, 2, 3. You stop here. Everyone listen carefully. You save 3 years, right? But you start from 0 early. So every time you save 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. Can you see or not? Every time save 12,000. Can you see this? Then you know this is annuities. When you do your past year question or tutorial question, you know this is annuities. For interest, they only save one time. Remember, they start from the principal. After 5 years or after 3 years, how much you get? Remember, only one time you save. But annuities, you save every time 500, 500, 500, or 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 until you stop. Depends how many years you save. Can anyone don't understand? All right, see, you start from 0, you end here, 0, 1, 2. But if you start from late, okay, never mind, I draw from my side here. This one is start from earlier, but those who start late one, okay, I redraw here. Those start from here, 12,000, 12,000, 12,000. Okay, you compare these two diagrams. Now you start from 0, 12,000. This is your first, second, and third. Let's say you want to pay 3 times, 3 years. So you stop at n equal to 2, 0, 1, 2. Now, if you start late, let's say you start here, late, then first payment, second payment, and third payment. So you stop here. And your n is what? 3. Can you see or not? Start from 1, 2, 3. Because you start late, end late. So right here, start late, end late. Start early, start from 0. Start early, start from 0, end early, end and 2. Understand? So that's why I asked you all just now. Those who save 1st January and those who save 31st January, how much different? 30 days, right? Which one get dividend first? Of course, this one first, right? Because you start early save, by the end of the month, people start to save, you get already dividend. Understand? That's why bahasa Malaysia call siapa cepat, dia dapat. Who first, who get loh. You save the same money, right? 3,000, 3,000. But you start first day, you start 31st. 30 day different. So how much you get? 30 days dividend earlier than another person. Understand? So next time when you earn money, right, you start working, right? Once you get your salary, you must quickly save your money. Don't spend. After that, no more already, the balance. Then how to save money? Next month also like that, spend, no money already. How to save? Every month also no money to save already. Right or not? Save first. All right? There's a lot of principle in investment, okay? Next time when you all start to work, you will learn from your life experience. Okay. All right. Any questions before I go on? So there are two types of annuities. You look at the question whether it's end or beginning. We call it ordinary or due. Can? Okay. Now these are some of the example I mentioned. Hire purchase, okay, insurance, payment to the bank, loans. These are, it shows that every month or every 3 months you pay the same amount. Okay, so this is all annuities. Okay, now calculation involve annuities. Let's go to this example. Now suppose a deal means what? Deal means early, beginning. Beginning. So of 3 annual payments, 12,000. This is the one. Okay, and then the fund give 12% compounded. Remember last week you learned compounded. So what is your interest rate here? 12% means what? 0. Hello? 0. What? 12. Okay, I hope you're done revision. This is per year. Per year means what? Divide by 1. So you can write here per year. Okay, next. The first payment made at the beginning of year 1 here will be invested for 3 years. So the formula, remember last week we learned that P times 1 plus I power n. Right not? This is the compound interest. So how much money you get here? 12,000 times 1 plus I 0.012 power n. 3 years. Okay, at the end of the third year. 1, 2, 3. The money you get here is, calculator. Someone help to calculate 12,000 times 1.12 power 3. How much? You get 16,859, right? This is the money you get after 3 years. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we stop here, but the n is 3. Be careful. N is 3 because 1 year, second year, third year. But we stop at 2. Maybe I write here year 2 lah. Year 2. I don't want to confuse you. Time 0 year, first year, second year. But the n is 3. Okay, everyone. The second payment made at the beginning of year 2 here. So this one, after you come to here, third year, 12,000 times 1.12 power 2. Right not? So calculator, you get how much? $12,000. 1.12 power of 2. 15,052.8. So this is the money you save 12,000 after 1 year. Okay, you get here 12,000 times 1.12, n is 2 lah. 1 year is second year. And then the third payment made at the beginning of third year here. So you get 12,000 times 1.12 power 1. Because from here to here, first day to the 31st day. So you only have 1 power 1, same month. So you get 12,000 times 1.12. You get 13,440. So add it up. You get this money. All right, these 3 amount you add it up, you get this. So I repeat, the first year you save here, after you get 3 years, you get this one. Those who save from second year, first day early, up to here, you get this amount. And the last one, 12,000 you save here, you get this amount. So you can see here, this n power of 3, this one n power 2, this one n power of 1, because we go 1 by 1. All right, go from here, here, and here. The last one is from the first day to the end of the day. So still 1 month now, we need the n. So n is 1 here. Okay. All right. Now this one is like factorizations. You see this one plus this is the first one, second one, and the third one. You factorize this, factorize this, you see this one plus this one. Can you see or not? Plus this one. So you take out this one, you expand this, you expand this, add it up, then whole thing time this one also can. Understand? Anyone don't understand? It's a mathematic lah, factorize. We call it factorize. You know what's called factorization, right? Okay, so as I said, for this annuities, you have to be very careful because the formula can be compounded differently. Later you can see that. Now I move on. Now let's look at one example. What is the maturity value after 5 years of a fund paying 9.5% per annum compounded yearly? Compounded yearly. So what is the I here? 0.095. Agree? 9.5% per annum. Remember, PA per year. This one compounded yearly, so divide by 1. Into 5 at 1. You see here? You mentioned here 5 means what? More than 1 time. When you see this word, you know this is what? Annuities. I told you, right? Annuities must be more than 1 time. Every time is the same amount. And the word here at once. At one means what? Due or early. Okay, now 2004 is the money that you always receive. The fund will pay you 2004, 2004, 2004, 2004, and 2004. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you see, you start from 0. Remember just how I mentioned, you start from 0, you end at 4. Why? Because early. If you start from 1, you end with 5 because you start late. Understand? Okay, now let's look at this table. First, year 0. Year 0 is your first received 2004. Early, not 1, 1 is late already. So it must start from 0. You see here? 2004 payment. So your fund, you get 2004 lah. The fund pay you 2004. Okay, the interest rate is 9.5%. Calculator, you get this? 2004 times 0.095. You get this one, right? Everyone? Okay, amount in the fund after year end. This one plus this one. You get this? That's what we have done last week. Okay, now you go to year 1. Here. Your payment, you still receive 2004 every time you receive the same one, right? Okay, then your total in fund 2004 plus this one. Remember, this is your balance. This is your balance, right? I write down BAL. BAL means short form for what? Balance, right? You all do account, right? Right? You know balance. So first year balance from here to here, you get this. After 1 year, you get this interest plus the payment you receive. So you bring to the year 1, you receive another 2004 plus the balance from last year. So how much now? 5028. Fair enough. Fair enough. Because you receive 2004, so every year you receive 2004. So now take this times 0.095. You get this? Yes, right? Then you plus these two, this one plus this one, you get this. So this is your new balance. Understand? Then you roll, we call it roll over, right? You learn account, you roll over to the second year. Now you receive the same from the fund. You save money, the fund give you money, right? right? Like you save money, bank give you the interest. Every time they give you 2004 every year. So happily, year 2, you receive 2004 one more time, and this one roll over, add it up, you get this. Correct or not? And then you times 0.095 again, you will get this amount. Am I right? And then you plus these two. This is your latest balance. Do you do for year 4 lah? And then stop here. The total amount of money you get here is 15,885.26. So what is the good thing of annuities? Every year you receive 2004. That's why if you want to save money, you find those funds that every year or every month give you the same amount of money. Why? Not only you earn, the balance they roll over, compounded. So it's 2 in 1. You know what's called 2 in 1? You get compound interest plus every period you get extra same money one. So do you think your money grow faster now? Yes. You have compound interest plus the every year you get the annuities. So this is how you grow your money. Don't go for simple interest. Last week we see, right? Simple interest only one time and it never compound, very slow one. Can All right, now, are we going to calculate like this? If I ask you after 10 years here, how much is the money here? Are you going to count one by one like this? Then you use your Excel, show in the computer. No, right? Everyone know how to use Excel, right? No, you don't do like that. Now, we are going to learn the formula. This is your formula here. Yeah. Now, let's study this line chart, remember? Okay. You start from here. Now, your A is remember I say, your money always receive the same amount. Okay? Start from 0. Start from 0. We call it early or due. You get money from 0, start, you end here. N minus 1. What did I say? Start early, end early. Why minus 1? Why n minus 1? Remember I say what? Just now you want to save 5 years, right? Let's look at this example one more time. Save 5 years, by right, n is 5, right? But we start from 0, you end here. 4. This is called n minus 1. 5 minus 1 become 4. Understand? So I say here, start late and late. Start early and early. So you don't need to worry, no need to do Excel. Don't show in the exam how to use Excel. Anyway, you cannot bring computer, laptop. So you use this formula. Yeah, listen. The money you get is here. Now, you see, your last payment received at n minus 1. But your maturity value is the money you will get. Understand what is called maturity value? The money, the total money you get after what? You get the dividend, everything, you get the principal, everything, yeah, you get back at the end here. So you see, there's one extra payment here. Guys, you all listen here. The last payment you stop at here. But your maturity is end here. So you have extra, how much? 1 period. That's why just I ask you, 1st January and 31st January save money. Which one earn first? 1st January, right? Because they start early. The last payment they get here early. And then when you find the maturity value, they earn 30 days extra. Can you see or not? This is called extra 1 period. 30 days of extra. So the formula is like this. Your payment, A times 1 plus I, the interest rate, times 1 plus I power n. This n here, you have to be very careful. Minus 1 divided by I. So let's look at this again. Do you think you get this same answer if I want to use this formula, where the A is the periodic payment? Periodic means same, equal amount of money you receive. I is the proportionate interest rate. Be careful, it's compounded, then you have to use last week formula. N is the number of periodic payments. Number of periodic. So based on this formula, let's calculate this one. Remember just now? What is our A? 2004, right? Our interest rate is 9.5%, right? We save for 5 years. Okay, based on this data here, now I use the formula here. So you don't need to show in Excel, don't worry, don't need to calculate. So A times 1 plus I, follow, times 1 plus I, power n. You see your n here is 5 years, right? Your n here is 5 years. Maturity value, not here, here. Okay, n is 5 years, but your payment stop at here. Minus 1 divided by this. You see or not? Calculator. Those of do manually 1 year, 2nd year, 3rd year, 1 by 1. You still get the same. Which one is faster? Formula, right? Now, that's why I ask you, if I want to know how much money I get 10 years here, can you calculate for me? Let's say I still receive the same 2004. For n is 10. So I start from 0. The fund give me 2004. 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year. See, the bank will give me every time 2004. 2004, 2004, until I start from 0. So the last payment bank give to me is what? 9. Remember 9? N minus 1. So this is the last amount of money I get. But what you want is maturity value. 10. This is your maturity. We call this maturity value. Remember the SN we use? So you use this formula, calculate for me. How much you get? $2,004. Everything is the same, except the N is what? 10. Oh, 10. Okay, calculator. How much you get? Anyone? Sorry? 685. 685. 555. Point what? 0.6. Okay, let me check. 0.095. Okay, my different answer. Different answer one. Divided by 0.095. I got 40 point something. Oh. Everyone, make sure you know how to use calculator. Okay, the answer is 40,892. Am I right, everyone? Those at home? If you manage to get what I'm asking you to count, 40,892.44. Repeat your answer. 40,000. So after 10 years, you get this amount of money. If you save 2004 in these annuities, wow, so good. The fund give you 2004 every year. Go and find lah. What type of investment give you this amount of money? Yes, there is. Unit trust, you know unit trust? Unit trust, some offer by the bank one got. But be careful, the interest rate, as I say, if they give you 20% or 30%, you be careful. This is sometimes fake one. It's a scandal. Scam. All right. Okay, can we do one more example here? 12 months, 12 monthly at once. See the word at once means what? Due, early. So you see this word, which formula you use? Which one? Don't use the wrong formula because after this, there are a few more formula coming in. All right. Okay, so can you calculate us? Every time 100 ringgit are made into a building society account. So let's say if I draw the line chart, you start from 0 because 30 ma. So this is the first amount of money you put into the building society account. And then you have to do how many times? 12 times. So 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 11. Because it starts from 0, end at 11. Remember? Start early, receive earlier. So every time you put 100 until the last payment at the 11th month. So how much money altogether already you receive here? This is your maturity value. Now, when you put into the account will give you fixed nominal rate 10.75% per annum. Listen carefully. This one is compounded monthly. Last week, what do you learn? Monthly, what should we do? I divide by what? 12. Guys, your I is 0.1075 per year, correct? Per annum. But once compounded monthly, you have to divide by 12. And what did I say? You cannot write year, you must write per month. If compounded quarterly, you must divide by 4. This one per quarter. If you question say compounded 6 months, I have to divide by 2. Then you write here per 6 months. Remember? Okay, so now let's use this formula to calculate your amount of money that you get here after 12 months. Now, remember, this is for 1 year. At the end of 1 year, 1 year, how many times you compound? 12, right? So the n here have to times 12. I divide by 12, n times 12. Remember I said that? Okay, so based on this formula, what is your A? 100, 1 plus 0. Calculator. Divide by 12 very, very small. So I will rather write as a fraction. Our n, so your n is 12, 1 year. You compound 12 times. Okay, minus 1. Divide by your I again. Okay, calculator. Can someone tell me the correct answer? Don't tell me the wrong answer. Correct one. This is a form of trading for those who are very scared to use calculator one. Anyone? Give me the correct answer. Don't give me the wrong answer. Those at home, 1272, is it? 1272. Yeah. All right. I have a few. Anyone don't agree with this? Can I move on? So you see the word at once. You notice the annuities. You use this formula. Don't use the wrong formula. Okay. One more example. Find the maturity value, the SN. Okay, so I always advise you guys to use the line chart. Can you all learn how to use line chart or not? It's not very difficult to draw. But I find that a lot of people don't like to draw one. I don't know why. They like to use the formula straight away. So you start from 0 at once, you see? Equal. So you see equal means what? Annuities. This is how you catch the word in your, when you do a tutorial or past year, right? You catch the word. Equal means what? Annuities. Every time you get the same amount. At once means early. How much money you get every time? 500. So every time you get 500, 500 for how long? 2 years. 2 years guys, careful of it compounded quarterly. What is your I here? 8% per year, right? But compounded quarterly, so we should divide by what? 4. Now you cannot write per year, you should write quarter. Remember? Which is 0.02 per quarter lah. Remember, 1 quarter, 3 months. Okay, now what is your N here? If your I divided by 4, your N times 4 lor. Remember last week I showed you, because 1 year compound how many times? 4 times. 1 quarter, 3 months. 4 times means 12 months. So 1 year, 4 times. If 2 years, how many? 8 times. The year times 4 lor. So your N 2 times 4. So actually 8. We don't write 8 year, we write what? 8 quarter. Remember I told you, the unit here and the unit here must same. If this is per month, this one is month. If this is per quarter, this is quarter. If this is per year, this one is year. If this is per 6 months, this one number of times of 6 months. Okay? So you draw your line chart. How you draw? 0 to what? 2 years, or we call it 8 months. So every 3 quarter, you see, guys, why I write 3 here? Because every 3 months is 1 quarter. So start from 0. When you reach month 3, you receive another 500. And then the next one is what? 6 months. You receive another 500. So you altogether receive how many times? 8 times. So the last one must end 7 here. 3, 6, 9, 12. After that, 15 plus 3, 18, right? 3, 6, you plus 3, 3, 3 lah. 12, 15, 18, and the last one is what? Okay, I erase this better lah. Don't want to confuse you all. I write here 2 years. 2 years altogether. There are 8 times here. So you receive the last year. You go and guess out which month is that. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. Okay. So once you understand already the diagram, Okay, now this is the formula here. The amount of money you get here, maturity value. So A, 100 times 1 plus I, the I is this one, times 1 plus this one, 1.02, power n. So your n here is what? 8, not 2, not 2 years, but 8 quarter minus 1 divided by 0.02. Okay, calculator. How much? You all fill up the mind chart yourself. All together, 1, 2, 3, you must have 8 times here. The last one is here. Can you all go and guess? Okay, anyone can give me the answer? 4377, is it correct? 4377.31. Anyone don't get this calculator? All right, so make sure your N and the I is correct. When you do your tutorial, past year question a lot. Go and get a past year question. You can see, you can do all the past year, then that means you already understand the formula and the concept. Concept, don't memorize. Okay, the next one, we already learned the early one, right? So the next one is what? The other one is what? Late. So we learned the beginning view. So the next one is end. We start late, we end late, or we call it ordinary. All right. So just like I explained to you all, let's look at the formula here. Maturity value for ordinary. This is the late. Now, you see, as I mentioned, you start from 1. Early, you start from 0. The late one, you start from 1. So if you start late, your payment receive late lah. Start from here, and then you have to end here. Last payment. Start late. The last payment also receive at the end there, which is the same as maturity value. So I want to take care of you here. For ordinary, take note. The last payment here is the same as maturity value. Last payment, same as the maturity value. The date, last payment, same as the maturity value. Anyone don't understand? I hope you all digest, unless my English is too deep. Now, you see the formula? Similar, but it's much, much easier, right? You compare this formula and this formula. Which one is simpler? This one, right? What's the difference? For this late annuity, there is no A times this one divided by I. There is no this one. This one missing, right? This part is missing. For early one, you got this. For the late one, you only have this. You don't have this. See formula? Don't have 1 plus I. Can you see the compare the difference? Okay, now can I ask you, which formula give you more money? Just now, what did I say? Early one or late one give you more money? Early. Why? You see the formula? This formula got 1 plus I, right? You times something, right? Which is more money. This one, late, you don't have 1 plus I. So you times less. That means your money is lesser. Logic or not? Okay, logic. Anyone don't understand? Let's say 1 plus I is 3 lah. Let's say lah. You times 3 for late. Sorry, for early you times 3. Let's say your money you got 100, but you have this one 1 plus I, right? You times 3, you get 300 lah. But this one don't have 1 plus I. So you cannot times 3 lah. So you only get 100. See or not? You short of what? 3 times. So when every year I teach students, I must teach their what concept. See the difference. Don't hafal. You memorize, you cannot catch the concept. You cannot see the difference. At the end of the exam, you just hantam only the formula. You all know what I mean? Okay. So A is a periodic, same lah. Every time you receive the same payment. I is the interest rate. Again, depends on the compound. And the N is the same number of periodic. Also depends on the compound. Okay, can we do one example? Now, this example is the same as what? Same as example, what example is that? Which example is this? 2004. Example, this one. Example 1, right? 2004 you receive every time 9.5% compounded yearly. Okay, now based on the late, so based on the early one, you get how much? 15,000 AA5. Remember we calculate this? This based on the early one. Okay, we use the same example, same amount, same 5 years, interest rate is the same, compounded annually. Find the total value. Total value here, maturity value. Okay, total means maturity at the end of 5 years. So you start late here. Can you see or not, guys? You start from 1, start late. You don't believe you get less money? Let's calculate. So don't need to use the Excel. Don't show year 1, year 2, how much you get. Straight away, what's the money? What's the formula here? Maturity value. We use what? Remember the SN? So what's the formula? Correct up? Here, late. The word here is N. Catch the word. Every time you receive 2004, you see? Start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Because you save for 5 years, you must receive 5 equal payment. That's your A. Okay, calculator. I is 0.095. Power N. Okay, N is what? 5 years. Still same, 5. Can you see maturity value same as your last payment on the same 5 years? Can you see or not? Last 5 years, last payment received same as the maturity value. Calculator? Anyone? Those have answer, can you post it? 14 1450. This one 14507.0. Okay, correct. Heng Li. Now, just how much you get? Those who start early one, what do you get? 15,000. Remember just now what do you get? 15,800 something. This one you pay, you receive early because you start save early. 15,800. Those who start late, you receive late. Your money is 14,500. So how much different? 1,000 plus different. Can you see or not? Less by 1,000 plus. Because you don't have the 1 plus I there. If you don't believe, later you go and find, use the Excel, year 0, how much, roll over, plus the dividend, balance, roll over. You do like that, Do you think you get the same answer? Yes. Can we go on? Okay, present value. What is the meaning present value? Present means now. Okay, can you write down here? The money you have now. If I ask you how much is your present value, what does that mean? You go and take out your pocket, your wallet, and check how much money you have. That is your present value. Okay, your 10 ringgit, 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit, 100 ringgit. As a student, not much, right? But some carry a lot also, be careful. All right. Today's money value, today's money, the now, of future cash flow. Okay, I don't care how much money you have in future, but I ask you how much money do you have? So you look at your wallet. Oh, all right. Useful in evaluation of capital expenditure. Why we have to see how much money we have now? Let's say you want to study in US, in America in 3 years' time after you graduate, or you want to study in Australia, you want to study in New Zealand, you want to study in Singapore. So 3 years' time you graduate, right? You want to study in US, study in US or Australia. Do you think you need more money? Australia now and Singapore currency is so high already. By the time 3 years from now, you want to study in London, you think it's cheap? No. So you see, those parents who want to send their children to study overseas, they have to prepare early. So what they do, they have to look at the money, how much they have now, how much in their saving. Want to send one children to study in Australia, need 500,000. 500,000. So how much money do you need to save now? Or you see the project, the manager want to build one building, cost 3 million. So how much money the company must have? Why they want to see their money now? So that they can what? Evaluate the capital expenditure. Understand? The process of finding present value is called discounting, or we call it reverse of compounding. Now, you see, I have this amount of money. Let's say 0 is your starting as usual. After n period, this is my what? Remember maturity value? This is my total money, right? Remember the SN? I don't care how many n you save, 5 years, 10 years. Now, the present value is here. Listen carefully. Then you ask me, this present value same as what? Last week, what do you learn here? The present value is what? Last week you learned, right? Is your P. Remember your principle? Yes, actually is your present value. I have to tell a lot of people, actually, you know what's called present value? It's your principle. Remember the simple interest and the compound interest, your P? You save the principal money, right? After n period, you get your maturity value, or we call it accrued amount, remember? So now, Let's say you want to study in Australia, 3 years time, you need 300,000. This is the amount of money you need to have, 300,000 to study in Australia. So how much money do you need to save now? That is your present value, which is your principal lah. So what do you need to do? Okay, you reverse it, guys. You know how much money you need to have? You must know how much money you need to save now, correct or not? That's what we call projection. Let's say you want to buy Mercedes-Benz or BMW, cost you maybe 1 million. Or you want to buy a bungalow, 5 million. How much money do you need to have now? Let's say you start working at the age of 25. You want to have 3 million to buy a bungalow. How much money is your now present value? Understand? So what do? We call it reverse back. Use the 3 million or 300,000, reverse back, find your present value. That's why we call this present or reverse of compounding. You see the word here? Reverse it. Or we call it discounting. Means from end, you know your end money, you discount it. Means you go back to the now situation here. Okay, last week, what's the formula you learned? Compound interest. P times 1 plus I power of n. Remember last week you learned this compound interest? Now, just like I mentioned, your present value is PV. Short form, not the PV, the condominium. Anyone stay in the PV? PV. All right, so you must be very good in PV, present value. Okay, from symbol PV, principal we use P, right? Right, so actually PV is your P. So based on last week formula, your PV, you see this formula? Your P is what? From here, if I want to find P, mathematics, what do? Sn divided by this, right? Bring over here, divide law. So your Sn divided by 1 plus I power n. Am I right? And I say P is your PV. So that's why we write here, present value of P is S divided by 1 plus I power n. No? Simple as that. Anyone confused? I hope no. So after this, you all go and calculate. I want to buy bungalow in 10 years time. How much is the bungalow? 3 million. Maybe the bungalow 2.5 million, but after 10 years, the bungalow will increase again, right? So you must add in the buffer. We call it buffer. So let's say the worst scenario, you can afford buy 3 million bungalow. So how much money do you need to save so that in 10 years, you can stay in bungalow? So S is the amount payable in n periods time, which means the total maturity value. I again is the interest rate per investment period. So be careful. The I here also can be compounded. And the N is the number of investment period. Okay, so let's do some calculation here. Anyone don't understand before I start? Guys at home, everyone okay? So no need for me to repeat. Right, so let's read the question. What is the present value? The question will mention the word present value, or we call it today's money. How much do you need to have now to save so that the money will become 1170 in 2 years time? So if I draw the line chart, after 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, the money I get here is 1170. If the interest rate 8% compounded semi-annual. Last week, what do you learn semi-annual? 6 months, right? So what do? Divide by 2. So this is 0.08 per year per annum, but now compounded semi-annual. So you see, I write here divide by 2, which is 0.04 per 6 months. Okay. The unit must be careful. Now, how long you have to save? 2 years. So what's your N? 1 year, if semi-annual, 1 year compound how many times? 2 times, right? Right? If 2 years there, times 2, 4 times already. So you see your N here, times 2 become 4 semi-annual. I divide by 2, N times 2. I divide by 4, N times 4. I divide by 12, N times 12. Just remember that. It's like your CFA. You know the calculation, the mathematics CFA? All right, so what is your PV? What is your present value here? This is the formula, right? Which I show you is the compound interest. So your S is 1170 divided by 1 plus 0.04. Power N, which is 4. Calculator. Now this is 2 years. 2 years, but actually 4 semi-annual. Calculator how much? 1,000? 1,000.12. 12 cents. Is this 1,000.12? Agree? Now, always remember, present value less than total amount. Principal less than the accrued amount. Okay. Can you try example 6? Now, if you look at example 5, very easy to calculate, right? Present value, because only one time. But if you look at some questions in the past year or in a tutorial, in this example, it's not easy. A department store advertised good at 700 deposit and 3 further equal payments of 500 at the end of each year. Now, this one slightly different. Why? Because 3 further equal at the end. Is this annuity? 3 equal, remember what I say? If you have received 500, 500, 500, what is that? Earning is. And then this is early or late. It's mentioned here, and it's the late. So this part is actually talking about what? Annuities, late annuities. So when you answer the tutorial or past year question, catch the word in the sentence. Okay? If you cannot catch correctly, you will answer wrongly. So if the discount rate is 7.5% per annum, per annum, no compound. So what's your I? 0.075 per year per annum, no compound. Calculate the present value, the PV. So if you don't see the answer, you know how to calculate or not? What is the meaning deposit? Deposit is the one you pay first, right? You know, you want to rent room, you want to rent a house, you pay what? Deposit. So this deposit is one time, 700. But you have to pay 3 equal payments. So if I draw the line chart, you start from late. So I start from 1. Then I pay 500 here. Because you want to advertise, right? So you have to pay deposit. And then you have to pay 3 times. Second time, 500. And the third time, 500. Okay? So these 3 times will be late annuities. Interest rate 7.5%. Calculate the present value. So this is your present value. Remember, start from the beginning one. Okay, so how do you calculate your PV? Your deposit, you need to add in because you pay already plus now. Why we have this? Anyone, why we know this? What's the formula for P? S divided by 1 plus I power of n. Remember this formula just now? Okay, the first one, reverse it from 1 to 0. Based on this formula, what's your accrued money? 500 divided by 1 plus I, your I is 0.075 So your plus 1 become 1.075. And then what's your n here? Because from 1 to 0, your n is 1. Understand? So that's why power of 1 here. Reverse it. Remember reverse? The word reverse. Okay, then you plus this one. Second payment. This is first payment. Written here. Your second payment is this one. So you reverse how long? 1 and 2. So that's why 500 divided by, okay, this formula 500 over 1.075, your n is about 2 because here 2 times. And the third one, from here, 1, 2, 3. So what's your PV? 500 divided by 1.075 power of 3. So use a calculator, add it up. And then you need to pay 700 deposit, right? So this one must also include as your PV. If you don't pay deposit, do you get the room? If you want to rent a room, you don't pay deposit, you cannot get a room, right? So same thing. You want to advertise, you must have this money deposit also as your present value. So this 3 added up plus 700. This is the present value. Okay, the cash price you must have before you can start to do business and do advertising and so on. Can? Right. Can we try this one? I'm giving you 1 minute to try, guys. I don't know whether you can do it or not. You try and understand the question here, and then you can give me comment or not. Because this guy, he want to pay off means settle the loan. He's not sure whether he want to pay in a single payment of 700 in 2 years' time, or is it making a single payment of 800 but in 3 years time? So you have two scenarios. The guys don't know what to do. He got option. He can finish the loan by making a single payment 750 in 2 years time. So after 1 year, 2 years, he pays 750. That means he will settle the loan. Or this is option 1. Second option, he can pay 800, but he have to pay in 3 years. So 1, 2, 3. Understand? This one 2 years, pay 750. This one pay 3 years, you pay 800. The discount rate is 8% per annum. So the I is 0.08 lah. So this is first option. This is second option. How we know, or how he know which one is the better option? Calculate what? You want to settle the loan, what do you need? You must know how much money you have now, right? That's called present value. So you must know your PV. You must know how much present value you have. If you think you don't have much money now, then you will pay longer lah. If you have money, you pay shorter. Fair not? If you think you cannot have so much money, then you pay longer lah. That's why some people, when they buy car, you know car loan, right? The shortest is what? 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and 9 years. You ask your parents, you can settle the car loan in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and 9 years. Those can afford it, buy cash. Those cannot one, they pay 3 years. Those very low income, they pay in 9 years. Fair, right? But of course, the longer you pay, you take longer period to pay, of course the bank will charge you more interest. Fair ma? Bank also earn, you also happy. If you have salary higher, then you go for 5 years or 3 years. You have a super rich, you buy by cash up. Okay. So based on this calculation, how much PV for this first option? Calculate already. How much? Cannot hear, sorry. 643 point. Okay, second option, how much money do you need now? Point. Okay, based on these two, which one is lower? This one, right? So the man should choose which one? Second option, because lower PV. If the man don't have high salary, then they have to choose the lower one. But you have to pay slightly higher, but you pay longer. Everyone, do you know that or not? If you pay longer period, your interest rate higher one. You pay for car and housing loan, you can check with your parents. Those who pay longer, do you pay end up more? Yes, this is true. Of course I know lah. I've been working for so many years. So next time when you work, you tell your younger brother, sister, you want to get loan, pay fast. The more you drag longer, you pay end up more. The bank will be more happy because they earn more money from you all, including myself. I also take loan already. Any questions? Okay, present value for annuity. Can I break for 5 minutes, everyone? Okay, 5 minutes. Come back. 5 minutes. Guys at home, 5 minutes break. We continue on first at home. I hope you're ready already. Okay, we're going to start now. Anyone still outside there? So we start now. We almost towards the end. Now, you can see that before we take a short break just now, right? Let me just summarize before we enter the last part here. Now, we started with annuities. Am I right? Okay. Maybe I write here. We started with annuities. That's a recap. So we started annuities. Annuities got two types, right? One is called early. We call it due. So the formula is the one that you've seen just now, right? Okay. The other one is called late. Late. We call it ordinary. Okay. So you can see the difference of the formula, and you can see that also early, those who save early, you receive the payment early, right? As I said, you start save, you receive earlier, and then the payment stop early also. And then you can see that the money is more than those who save late, which you get the payment late, and then you have to get the payment at the end of the maturity value. Correct enough? That's for annuities. So how you know that's annuities? I repeat again. If the question mentioned that you receive a regular payment, let's say every 1 month or every 3 months, you receive, let's say 200, 200, 200, then you know that is called annuities. Okay? Where you learn in simple interest and compound interest last week, you only save one time your principal value, not the P. Then at the end of the end period, how much money you get? That's your accrued. Understand? Everybody clear? So when you do your questions, don't mix up. You mix up also, then it's too unfortunate. So that's why I need you all to digest and understand the concept. There's nothing you can memorize here. Yes, you can memorize the formula, not the concept. Okay, just before we enter to the end, the second thing we discuss is called present value, right? So present value actually is our principal. So we call it PV. So what's PV? The money you must have now, today, or we call it how much you need to save now, so that after end period, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. If you want to buy a bungalow, or 3 years from now, you want to go to Australia to study, or 5 years from now, if you want to do something, okay, to build a building or to buy whatever, okay, that is the money you have to have now. So the PV actually is a principal. The formula is the same. S divided by 1 plus I power of n, which is your compound interest. So far, all clear in the mind? Okay, now we enter the last part. Okay, we call this present value of annuity. Combine them together. So 1, we discuss annuity. 2, we discuss present. 3, combine them together. Present value of annuities. Present value for annuities. Now, present value for annuities also got 2 types. Like your annuities, we have the due, the early one. We also have the late. Same like annuities. I hope you're clear. Annuities and present value for annuities both also have early and late. So if you look at the diagram here, let me read out this definition first. If annuity consists of, again, you receive the N regular. Remember, receive 100, 100, 100, or 500, 500, 500. Okay, payment of every time the same amount A over N periods. At the beginning is earlier of each period. So you start from 0, is it? Beginning up. Then the present value. So always remember, present value is the money you must have now. Right? But this time, to have the money now, make sure that if the payment is based on annuities, which means every time you receive the same amount. So how much money do you need now? And then plus the money you receive every time, so that at the end of the end period, you get the amount of money you have. That's what it means. You combine the present value and the annuities together. Okay. Now, just now you calculate the PV, this formula, right? S over 1 plus I for n. Because you only save one time, present value is the principal. But now, a part of the the principal you save, you also receive every period the same amount. So if the question mentioned you receive the same amount, and then the question asks you to find PV, that means it's the PV for annuity, which is number 3. You don't go and do number 1 or number 2. A lot of students do number 2. Why? Because it's thought it's PV. But the difference between 2 and 3 is what? This one only one time, only one payment, only one payment, or one principal that you save. This one, because of the annuities, like just now, you have a few regular, you call it few regular, same amount, or few regular payment. Every time the payment must be same. This is how you differentiate number 2 and number 3. So when I teach this subject, these topics to every year, I always have to tell them what's the difference between 2 number and number 1, number 2 and number 3, the simple and the compound interest. I always have to teach them like this. Otherwise, if you see the question, you're very scared one. You don't know which one is which one already. You all can think what I'm trying to say here, right? You try and see after this, you do a tutorial. By the time you finish reading the sentences, not sure already. Which one? Simple or compound? Is it annuities? Or is it present value? Or is it present value for annuities? Actually, you have 5 things there. You get what I mean? I roughly can think that you all start to think, oh, there are 5 things there. Which one is which one? Don't worry, you have time to practice a lot. Once you can differentiate between simple and compound, between annuities, present value, and present value for annuities, then no problem with it. Okay, all right. So what's the formula for present value based on U? So this is the formula. You see, this formula is different from number 1. Remember just now annuities, the early one. Can you go back to this formula again? Which one? This one, right? This is calculate the end money. You calculate the end money based on the annuity early. But now you calculate the present value, the beginning one. Can you see the difference? Maturity value is the end one, end period. Present value is the early one. One count in at the back, the other one count from the first one. So make sure you don't confuse. So present value for annuities due to early. If you understand this diagram, okay, start from 0. So every time you receive the A until n minus 1, remember your payment end earlier. Okay, so the PV you need to have now, the money you need to have today, is given by A, the first one you pay, plus the second one the first you receive, this one you receive, plus the second one you receive. Now, the second one you receive, A divided by 1 plus I. Why divided by this? Because your principal is S over 1 plus I. Remember this formula? So the first one, why we have A here? Because over 1 plus I power of, what's your n? 0. Because the first present value here, so the n is what? 0. Anything power 0 is 1. Correct or not? So A divided by 1 is A. So that's why the notes here don't write divide anything. Okay, so the second payment you receive, A over 1 plus I, so this is power of 1 because your n is 1 year already. Plus the second payment, so the third already, 1, 2, 3, A over 1 plus I, so the n here is 1 and 2. Plus the third, the fourth payment, A over 1 plus I power 3, and so on until the last one here, A divided by 1 plus I power n minus 1. Okay? And when you total up this, you can simplify the formula. So we are not going to learn how to simplify. Straight away, we use this. After you sum this one all, you can prove this formula out. So we're not going to learn the following. Okay, everything based on calculation. How much money do you only have now if it's a early payment that you receive starting from 0? Okay, clear? So I hope you know how the difference between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 1 and 3. Okay. So if we have the early, we also have the late, as I mentioned just now, early and late. If we have the payment received at the end of each period, which is the first you save it now. So your last payment you receive also end with the maturity, remember? Then the question might to find how much money do you need to have now? Again, you receive the payment first time, second time, every time is the same payment. It's already a but it's late, so you start for month. And then the question asks how much money do you need to have now, today's, which is your present value. So again, based on the diagram, so for the first one, you see your first one, you start from A here, right? First payment now. A over 1 plus I. Can you see the n here is 1? Same formula. S over 1 plus I. And so the first one is n is 1. Just now what do you do? The first one is A, right? Remember, why A? Because your 1 plus I power of 0. Your n start from 0 here. Can you see the difference there? That's why I asked you to draw the line chart, but many of you don't want to draw the line chart. So a lot of people say, stubborn. Stubborn. We try to encourage all of you to draw the line chart. Draw the line chart, you can see better. But some people want to use the formula, they think that everything can be done by formula. We are worried that you may miss certain aspects or certain of the, what do you call it? You may misjudge or miscalculate the n minus 1 and so on. Okay, so better try to learn how to draw the line chart. It's not very difficult, just draw only how much it can be different from other diagram. Just draw one line, start from 0, n period here. Okay, if it's simple interest, if it's a compound interest, if it's an annuities, only 3 things are. Either you start late or early, that's all. Okay, so I start from A over 1 plus I. Then the second one is the payment you receive is here, right? So 1 and 2. So that's why A over 1 plus I power 2, your n is 2. Then the third payment, here, so 1, 2, 3. So A over 1 plus I power 3, based on this formula. Then until the last payment you receive, I told you, right? A here must be same as the mature value, which is your n. Okay, so A over 1 plus I power n. Now, if you total up this based on the progression, you find that the PV is given by this formula. So don't need to learn how to prove it, but it's proven this is the formula to find present value, how much money do you need to have now, if the first payment you receive is late, because you receive late, cannot. So we are going to use one or two examples to show what's the difference between these two formula, and then you can tell me, is it late or is it early? Which one need you to have more money now? Just like I asked you, you want to buy a bungalow 3 million. If you receive the payment A amount, so how much money do you need to have now? Or is it you want to look at due or late? Which one force you to have more money? I use the word force, which means whether you like it or not, you must have that money. Otherwise, you cannot buy a bungalow or cannot study in Australia, and so on. So let's look at the example straight away. The present value of 125. So find the present value. So you must find the PV here, how much you need to have today, so that 125 is the amount that you receive at the end. End means what? Late log of each quarter. What's the mean each quarter? Compounded what? Some people, they don't care about the word quarter one. They like to calculate everything in 1 year. Come on, man. I told you, right? Your interest rate not every time per year can be quarter money already. So if you see the word each quarter, don't ignore it. Pay attention on the word quarter means what? Compounded, right? For 5 years. Subject to discount 12% per annum. So your interest rate is 0.012 per year. You need to adjust it. Yes, you see now it's quarter, you see the time. It's not per year already. This is per year. But your line chart is per quarter. That's why I asked you to draw the line chart. You don't draw the line chart, I worry that you simply or you suddenly, carelessly, accidentally, all the negative words, which means the person still calculate 5 years and they use the I 0.012, which is wrong. You need to divide by what? You need to divide by 4, because this is per quarter. And what's your n here? Remember, if your I divide by 4, your n have to times what? 4, right? Because this is how many years? 5 years now. So n is 4 times 5 years. 4 quarter times 5. So how many? 20 quarters, right? Remember I told you the unit. That's why you see here 20 quarters. Can you see or not? I don't write here 5 years, I write here 20 quarters. Do you agree the line chart is very important? Or still not important? If you can imagine in your mind without drawing the line chart, fine. Sure, we use the formula. Because we know this is what? Late annuities, and we want to find the present value. So we use the formula, sure. Those never draw line chart also, if you're lucky, as long as you know the formula is late. Okay, so A is what? 125. But I explained this line chart for you. You see, n is 20 quarters. So the n you must use what? 20, don't use 5 years. So 1 minus 1 plus I, your I is what? 0.03, right? Divided by 4. So 1 plus 0.03 is 1.03 power of negative, n is 20. So for the bit annuities, finding present value, there's a power negative n here. Okay, then you divide by what? What's the I? 0.03. What's the answer? Can you remember the answer? Hello. answer. Is it possible to get the present value 0? Absolutely not logic. How much? Sorry? 2422. 2422. 2422. Anyone? 2422. Make sure you all have this calculator. 1 minus 1.03 power of negative 20 minus 1 times 125 divided by 0.03. 8. So 1859, right? 1859.68. This is the present value you must have. If the payment you receive is based on the late annuities. Okay, so I hope you all can clear the difference between 1, 2, and 3. Only 3 things you compare, only it's not many. Okay, let's look at one more example. The tenants of a rental house. You see, when you know what's tenant, right? You all rent a room, you are the tenant, no? The person who rent to you is the landlord or landlady. Okay. Now you want to rent a house, have your rent fixed as 1650 per annum once. What's the meaning of once? 30. So with immediate effect. So that means you have to pay the rental first, right? Guys, if you rent a room, you really need to pay the rental first or pay at the end. What the landlord lady ask you to do? Pay first, right? Pay first, no money, no talk. Okay. All right. So we start from 0 because early. Then they pay to stand the property for 5 years. That's why 15 years. So this is a line chart based on year. So start from 0, 15 years is the last. Okay, now remember you start from 0, you end 14. Remember n minus 1. You pay early, your last rental pay stop early now. You know? So find the total value of the investment in today's term. Today's term means you have to find the what do you call that? The PV. If the average discount rate is estimated at 10% per annum, 10% per annum means what? 0.1. Okay. So again, this is based on the present value of unity because this is earlier. So you need to pay rental 1,650 every time the same. So this is very clear annuity early, and you have to find the PV. So this is your PV for unity. Okay, formula. Can you differentiate now? So A is 1650 times 1 plus I. This is compounded annually. You never say compound what, right? So you take percent per annum, 0.1 times 1 plus, sorry, 1 minus 0.1. 1 minus 1 plus 0.1. So which means is 1.1. 10% is 0.1. So 1 plus 0.1, 1.1, power negative 15. The n is 15 years, right? Okay. So make sure you check out it's not compounded. Divided by I, which is 0.1. Okay, calculator. What do you get? Anyone can give me the answer? Anyone in the 13805, is it? 13805. Anyone get 13805? Yeah. So make sure everyone you know to press calculator the power, negative 15, and so on. 0.03. Okay, now this is the amount of money that you have, so that you can pay the rental for 15 years. Every time you pay 1650. Or if you don't have this amount of money, then the landlord will tell you, no money, no talk, no need to rent. Okay, that's what it means. Nowadays also have to pay the deposit first, right? When you rent a room, deposit is deposit. First rental is first rental. Okay, that's all. Final part, we call net present value. Okay, now just now we talk about present value, right? The money that you must have now, so that you can build your money up to the certain amount after n period of time, so that you can go to overseas studies, you can build this, you can buy that, and so on. Okay, what about net present value? Now, net present value, actually, we call it discounted cash flow, DCF. Remember just now we use the discounted words, discount or reverse it. So that this is the amount of money, or we call it investment. You save the money into the investment fund, which can give you the projected cash value. So that from the projected cash value, the cash value can be positive, can be negative one. So positive means positive cash flow. Now, if it's positive cash flow means what? You earn money or you lose money? If positive cash flow means earn money. Earn money, yeah. If negative cash flow means what? Lose money. Understand? When you do business, your money either enter or go out of. Correct or not? Either muscle pocket or cloth pocket. Those who do business money. Muscle pocket means untung lah. Cloth pocket means habis. Okay. So when you do a project, you want to know, or you want to know whether a bank or fund give you the what we call it package offer. So do you know? Oh, sorry. If you want to know whether the investment is worth to invest or not, because everybody also want to make money, right? When you invest, for sure lah. If you don't make money, why you want to invest? So you must know at the end of the total period, we call this NPV. Is it give us the positive or negative cash flow? So how do I say? Positive cash flow means your total investment give you return. You untung duit lah. If the end of the period, your NPV give you negative cash flow, which means you burn your money out, you give already. Understand? So we go for this called discounting rate, okay, which I show you. Discounting rate means you reverse it from the total amount of money at the end of the end period, you reverse back in front to find the PV. Okay, so based on this example, a business project is being considered which has the 12,000 initial cost associated with the revenues over the following 4 years of 8,000, 12,000, 10,000, and 6,500. Okay, now our job is to find the NPV. So we want to know whether this business project is good or not, whether you want to work to invest or not. If the project costs over the 4 years are estimated, now cost means what? Expenses are, okay. You all do business, you do accounting, you know. Expenses means you have to minus out, correct or not? You want to know whether how much money you earn, you must minus your cost mark. So that you call it net what? Profit. Is it net profit? You must minus out your cost. How can you find all masuk saja duit you count as a profit? You never minus your expenses. Then if your expenses more than what you get, you still lost, right? Very basic knowledge. So this is what you do. So you see the cost for the 4 years, I'll give you an example how to calculate the NPV. The first year is 8,500. Second year, 3,000, fourth year, and the fifth year. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, we don't call this as a year start from 1, start from 0. Just remember, I draw the line chart, always start from 0. So the best is everyone use 0. Okay. First year, no money in. Now, when you do this type of questions, you build the table like this. Here you start with cash inflow. Inflow means duit masuk. Cash outflow means duit keluar. So how do you find your net cash flow? Masuk tolak keluar. A minus B. Understand? Understand? So first, we call it 0 year. What is your cash masuk? Either first year the project, no money in, but your first year cost is how much? 12,000 already. See, 12,000 my initial cost. Initial cost is 12,000. So your net cash is kosong tolak 12 is 12. Now, do you know what is called bracket? You all learn accounting. Bracket means what? Negative, right? Or you can put in the red color lah. Negative red color already. So the next one column discount factor. Now this discount factor is 18.5%. Now remember your formula for present value. Present value is given by S over 1 plus I power n, right? Remember this formula? 1 plus I power n, this is your discounting factor. Forget about the S, take the 1 over 1 plus I power n. This is called discount factor. The last column, we calculate the PV. This is the one that we have to calculate. But based on this discount factor and the net cash flow. So the first one is negative, right? Okay, what's your discount factor? 1 over 1 plus. Your I is 0.185, right? 18.5%, 0.185. Then your N here start from 0. Now, guys, can you write down here? Start from 0. Don't start from 1. I find that many people start from 1. You must start from 0 here. So your N here power 0, not 1. Can you see or not? So 1 over 1 is 1. And then your present value, you know how to get the present value? Your present value is, you take this net cash divided by, times this one. You times this one, 12,000 times 1 is 12,000. Still negative, right? Okay. Now we go to 1 year, first year. Now your cash inflow is how much? 8,000. Your the revenue is untung, right? So the first is 12,000. The second year is 8,000 already. So you put here 8,000 now. The expenses is about 8,500. Can you see this? Revenue against the cost. So 8,005. Now what's your net cash? 8,000 minus 8,005. You still rugi, right? You see the bracket there? Still rugi 500. Now what's your discount factor? 1 over 1 plus 0.5. Now the N here is 1 here. Can you see? So 1 over 1 times 1, if I calculated, you get 0.8439. Okay, now I repeat, use 4 decimal places. Remember, time series, I also mentioned that use 4 decimal places. The more, the better. Okay, then you times 500 times this, calculator, 0.8439, multiply the 500. You get 421.95, multiply these two. Okay, can we enter N2? So N2, what's your revenue? 12,000. 12,000, right? And what's your cost? 3,000. So in 12 out 3. So what's your net cash flow? 12 minus 3 is 9,000. Untung already, so no more bracket. Now what's your discount rate? 1 over 1.185. The N is power 2 here. Okay, then you get 0.7121. Okay, multiply these two, you get 6408.9. Okay, can we do the year 3? So what is your revenue? 10,000. What's your cost? 1,500. So in 10,000, out 1,005. What's your net cash flow? 8,005. What is your discount rate? 1.185 or what? N is 3. How much? Is it 0.600? 9, right? 6010. So you times 8,500. You get 5108. Is it 5108? Here, 5108.15. And then the fourth here, revenue 6,005 and cost is 1,005. So how much do you earn here? 1,000 now. So 1 over 1.185 over 4. Calculator, how much? Then you times. What's the money here? Okay, the last NPV here. Now, how to get 1630? Add up this 4 number. Sorry, 5 number here. Add it up. Now, don't forget this is 12,000 negative. Remember the bracket. Rookie one. So this is minus 12,000, you plus the rest. So you get 1630 here. How much do you get this up? 25,351,69. Okay. So you get 1630. Okay, now the question we ask you to comment. So this is your comment. Now here, NPV more than 0 means project earns money. NPV to the 0 means break even. Break even means no lose, no earn. If your NPV less than 0 means the project earns less than the discount rate. So the project make a loss. Don't invest. Don't invest. So based on this NPV 1630 positive, right? Positive. So is it good? So this is how you comment. Based on this, your NPV is what? NPV is more than 0, right? So positive earning. So can invest, right? Can invest. Positive earning can invest already. Okay. Now the bracketed figures, as I mentioned, is negative. You see the bracket one is negative. All right. Now do you have 2 more minutes for me? Got class. You got class already. Okay. So you can try to get this negative. This negative bracket means lost money. Lost money means you cannot invest already. So this is NPV less than 0 because it's bracket. You can try to see how you want. Try this is your NPV, this is your discount factor. So less than 0 means not worthy to invest because this is lose money. Lose money. Okay, now for the progression, unlimited and cumulative progressions, if you all want to, if you're free, I maybe can do it like next Monday. Next Monday you're free, right? No more class, right? So I may invite all of you to go for 1 hour discussions. Okay, I will try to discuss about the progression with you all. Then, if any of these example which you haven't finished or you cannot figure it out, right? Then you can ask me. I can show you how to do it. All right, for all these NPV. And then maybe also some of the tutorial if your tutors did not manage to discuss with you, I can show you next Monday. Okay, next Monday is about 25th. Okay, next Monday I invite all of you to me. If you want to join, you can join. All right, so that's all for my last lecture. Sorry. Yes, still the now. All right, welcome everyone. Okay, so I will see you Monday. 1 hour short one. Any of you want ask any question? Also can go ahead.